By taking a look at Accentuate's numbers, now the company reporting a 43% increase in earnings per share to 6 cents and a 2% increase in revenue to 146.45 million rand. Joining us now for a take on those numbers is the CEO, Fred Platt. Fred, thanks very much. Now, you are reporting a 43% increase in headline earnings per share, but at the same time, your statement talks of an extremely difficult operating environment. Characterize it for us.
Yeah, thank you, Godfrey. The two areas in which we operate is the flooring business, the floor works, which is primarily focused into the infrastructure area, and then of course the chemical business, SAFIC, which provides maintenance solutions to the flooring and broadly to industry. The area of specifically the mining industry and the strikes and the activities in there, and then obviously compounded with the transport strike during the same period, impacted quite heavily on the numbers, specifically in the area of the chemical supply over the period, and that was for effectively for 3 months of the quarter.
Right. So if you take away the impact of those strikes and the other conditions that you describe here, what would the numbers have looked like? Maybe someone else can just trade on the basis of that and say there will be no strikes in the second half.
Yeah, I think that, if we look at the flooring business, we are very fortunate in that we're operating well above previous. At the end of December, our comparative order book was 22% up on the corresponding year. From the SAFIC, the chemical business, we've focused on annuity business, and that is already about 50% of our book at this point in time of our total sales. So generally, the business is doing well, but within a macro environment which is challenging. And that's really the reality. Yeah,
as declared by the finance minister yesterday, we saw his numbers as well, not looking too good, and he is trying to live within his means. Let's talk about the future, I guess, because people are more concerned about what kind of market you're seeing in the year ahead. Now, you are saying here in your statement to the stock exchange, your order book is 22% higher. What's bulking it?
Well, the focus into both health and education and government spend in that area. And as we've said on a number of occasions, should government be in a position to spend the allocated funds in the area of health and education, our numbers would look very, very different. But as it comes through, fortunately, Floorworks is invested both into new projects and into refurbs, and we're involved in a number of refurbs. And we've also seen the vinyl business as a category expanding into soft flooring and a little bit into the area of ceramic business with new vinyl releases. So we're very excited about that. Obviously, the water business holds great potential for us going forward.
But if you take away the government side of the business, and we know government always struggles to spend. I mean, the minister yesterday was talking about 827 billion rand over the next 3 years. Nice sounding number, but we know for it to come out is another matter. Take away the government side. Let's just concentrate on what the market is looking like on the private sector side within construction. We do know the constraints. We do know the costs that companies are battling. What do you see there?
Well, I think our view is that things are picking up slightly. We're starting to see some activity within the sector. We're all anticipating a much greater growth within the construction sector going forward. I think if you look at the construction companies, you're starting to see some form of activity there. However, still very constrained, a lot of pressure on it. I think macro environmental factors and confidence in the economy is a huge factor that drives the construction sector as such. So we are, but as I mentioned, if people are not building new buildings, they tend to refurbish the old ones, and we play in both.
For you. Okay. Now, you also talk potentially about acquisitions, and you're on the lookout for those. I suppose in this environment where balance sheets are looking very healthy indeed, I don't know what yours looking like. Maybe you can update us on that. Would you think then perhaps that it's optimum, and the assets that you'd probably be looking at would be priced right given the constrained environment?
I think there's a twofold answer to that. Accentuate understands that we're a very small company at this point in time, and we had to get the right foundation upon which to build this business forward. And we're now at that position where we will be actively looking for the right acquisitions.
How big is that kitty?
Well, we are, at this point in time, we have identified a number of acquisitions. As you know, we have a relatively small market cap.
Sure.
So it will be incremental growth.
Okay.
But hopefully we will be able to be in a position to disclose a lot of that a lot quicker.
This sounds like it's
right
pretty
now.
close. You find your words very carefully indeed.
I think that what is important is that we have identified, we have a very clear agenda.
Right.
We have obviously done some acquisitions in the past which haven't been great.
Yeah.
So we have to make 100% sure that the acquisitions that we do will be earnings enhancing and will add to the value of the group going forward, and will put us in a position to deliver to shareholders.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember around the story of making acquisitions that haven't quite come right. Marius Klopas at BHP, we all know the two big acquisitions that he made, and now some people are suggesting that he got the axe because those acquisitions didn't quite work out. So I'm hoping that will not happen to you. But let's talk about perhaps the region. So South Africa is a difficult trading environment right now. Hopefully, as you said, things in the private sector side will look a little brighter. You're in Botswana. Where else would you see your company going in the next few years?
Well, you know, regionally, there's a lot of opportunity. Botswana is one of those. Obviously, Namibia.
Yeah.
We operate extensively into Angola. And then, you know, other regional
trading
markets.
there, taking stuff there, or setting up on the ground and actually running an office from there?
We have representation in all of those markets.
Right.
We don't have offices in those areas, but
Okay.
we do a number of projects. On the flooring business, Floorworks does a number of projects, the latest of which was the academic hospital in Botswana, in Gaborone. But into Angola, we do a lot of trading, and there's huge opportunity on the continent.
Yeah. What's the strategy, though, in terms of growing into the continent? Are you looking to make acquisitions? Are you looking to go in and partner with somebody, or do you want to go the trading route that you've started with the other two markets that you're talking about now?
It's a combination of both. What we're seeing is, firstly, there's opportunity for Floorworks and for Safex to trade into the continent,
Sure.
but also remembering that South Africa is potentially a gateway for European companies and representing European companies into the continent.
Right.
So that is the area that we are currently looking at and seeing what is the best, but understanding, as I say, the size of our business, the risk appetite that we have, and the ability to deliver sustainable earnings going forward.
Absolutely. So if you could sum up for us then, when you look at Accentuate's prospects going forward, better than last year, certainly?
I think very, very, very much so, in line of the fact that last year we were still dealing with a number of issues. We had to form the right foundation. We had to ensure that we can build sustainably going forward, and that has been achieved. And I think that we now have a very clear set of comparative numbers upon which, and a firm foundation, and the balance sheet, as you quite rightfully mentioned, has been strengthened substantially, which enables us to go out and do the necessary acquisitions.
Fred Platt, CEO, Accentuate, thanks very much indeed for your time, and good luck.